about to listen to the Dr. Dahlia Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Dahlia Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Dahlia.
Welcome back to the Dr. Dahlia Show, 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So last weekend, I had a patient who called up because her doctor had given her one of those weight loss drugs, and she maxed it, and she was still very unhappy with her weight and how she looked, and she was comparing herself to some of these women on TV and how they look in bathing suits and bikinis, and with June just around the corner, she wanted to know what she could do to augment her GLP-1 agonist drug for weight loss. And, it's interesting because, we've spoken about how some of these celebrities have just done extreme things to their bodies to lose weight. And when you look at that mismatch between the general population looking at Jennifer Aniston on Friends, or Christina Applegate on Married with Children, or Demi Moore, and they're looking at these ladies going, okay, I need to up the dose so I could look like them. I think, we need to be pretty honest with everybody and realistic. So, interestingly, Demi Moore had opened up about one of her diets that she had been on that she had said was unhealthy. I don't think she's still currently on it, but I believe her diet included 3 Red Bulls a day, sugar-free, a teaspoon of tuna, and I believe like a celery stick, and that was all she ate all day. Okay, well, that's not very healthy. But yeah, a diet like that, you're going to be pretty skinny. Christina Applegate opened up in her memoir talking about how, if she was going to have a bagel, that was an enormous meal for the day, one bagel. Okay, I mean, many of us have a bagel apart as our pre-breakfast like snack. And, she would try to eat a half of a half of a half. Or if she ate a grape, it was too much. And so she said for her to look like that on Married with Children, she basically had body dysmorphia, had to be anorexic. Now, people are taking these weight loss drugs and they're looking at Oprah. They're looking at Serena Williams. They're looking at, all these stars, and they're thinking, okay, I need to do better. It's not working. I need to do better. So I'm not saying you'll never get to be slim, but these stars are doing some very, very severe weight loss regimens that aren't very healthy. And that's how they're looking like. If you think you want to look like Kelly Bundy on Married with Children, you almost have to be bone on bone. And that's what she described. She actually lost so much weight that she was bone on bone. And, these stars, and not that I'm playing a violin for these movie stars, and these TV stars, but, their career really depends on their body, and an extra 5 pounds could make or break their career. If they don't land a role and a role, the role of a lifetime, I mean, look at how many stars. You're like, oh my God, she was so pretty. He was so talented. Where are they? Well, they never made it. If they didn't have the right look, if they didn't have the right waistline. And so, when you hear, now Tom Brady, I get, he's an athlete. He's eating pretty healthy. He looks healthy. But some of these other stars do not look healthy. Only eating 1 teaspoon of tuna fish. I believe one star said all they did was drink juice. I think Seth Rogen went on a fruit diet. I don't know if I have I want to kind of look at that a little bit more as to see who did what. I think Steve Jobs was really big on carrot juice, and he kept his weight down because he would drink a lot of carrot juice. And then he later ended up getting a neuroendocrine tumor and a pancreatic cancer. I'm not saying that the carrot juice did that, but when you see these individuals who have such strict diets, and then you hear these stars that they just don't seem to be healthy, there might be a connection. And so when the regular non-Hollywood population is saying, well, I need to look like that, I need to look like that. I mean, look, I remember growing up, and I go and I'd see somebody on TV and I go, I need to lose more weight. And my mom would always say, but she starves herself. She starves herself. I'm like, well, I could do that. I mean, if you're telling me I could look like that and then I could get a date to, prom, okay, I could do that. No, I couldn't. Yeah, and Mark Wahlberg, very good, rigorous exercise program. I mean, a lot of these individuals do have trainers and gyms in their home, and exercising is important. But if you're thinking you're going to look like what these individuals do on TV or in movies, you got another thing coming. Yeah, and in fact, it's kind of been postulated that the weight loss that Tom Hanks had to do, he had to severely lose a lot of weight for that Castaway role. And then I guess after that, we're told he was diagnosed with diabetes. Well, your body can only handle so much if you're going up and down with your weight. And, these stars are because film adds pounds. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys are looking at me. I'm honestly a size 7. But you see what the camera does? Okay, I'm not a size 7. But anyway, but I mean, even at my skinniest, remember, I got size 10 feet. I am not going to look like anybody on the Friends cast. It's just not going to happen. So what you need to do is when you are, let's say, going on these medications, really be honest about what your expectations are. I understand there's a lot of pressure to wear a bikini. A lot of people want to wear bikinis. My bikini days are over. I did bikinis in my 20s. No need. And I just don't want to put anybody on the beach through that. No need. I mean, you could be very sexy in a one piece. You still can be. But if all of this is about you want to wear a bikini, okay, wearing a bikini is important. And I get that. You're going to have to do abs. You're going to have to decrease your body mass. You're going to have to work on your hip to waist ratios. I mean, there's going to be a lot of work to that. If that's something you really care about, if you're doing it healthily wise, that's great. But if you're having these unrealistic expectations and now you're maxing on medications that probably are not, I still am questioning how safe long term if you're not using it to manage diabetes and you're using it to do rapid weight loss. I'm still concerned, especially with the rebound. The faster you lose the weight, the more you rebound. And rebound weight gain is not healthy. So I would look up, how did these stars lose their weight if there's an honest recollection of that? And understand that it's going to take a lot more than just Roe or these medications. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY. Don't go away.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799 and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799 and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My Financial Fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
And we're back on the Dr. Daliah Show, 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So I think you guys need to rethink a lot of these AI camera tech gadgets you have in the house, because some Meta workers are admitting they don't want to see it, but they're able to watch us undress, go on the potty. Okay. They don't want to watch it, but when they're doing the data analysis or whatever they're supposed to be doing for the company, they're seeing all the images that these gadgets are capturing, and it's not good. So this latest is, interestingly, remember I told you guys that, I haven't really had a big hit with the kids in terms of like a Christmas present for a while, because either A, they know it's coming, or B, I think I know what they want. And it was last year, not this last Christmas Hanukkah season, but the previous one, where I got them the Meta AI glasses. And they were really surprised. They didn't know I did this. And they open it up and they go, "Oh, they're Ray-Bans." And then my one son goes, "Oh, whoa, are these? Wow." And then the other son, because they opened it up at the same time, and he's like, "Wow." And so we got the wow factor with that. And then, even a few minutes later, he's like, "Oh, Mom, look, they charge in the case." And I was like, I haven't seen them that excited since I bought them lightsabers as kids. I was like, okay, this was a win. No, it wasn't a win. No. Now I need them to find those glasses and bury them deep into some drawer. So they say these Meta Ray-Ban AI glasses have been very, very popular, according to Futurism. And they said 7 million got sold in 2025 from the 2 million they sold in 2023 and 2024. I guess what they do is there's recognition. So you know how people used to have a GoPro and things like that? Well, now if you have your sunglasses on and you're going to see the waterfalls or you're going to see a concert, you could turn it on. You could also access it for information. So rather than you go into your phone, you could just ask your glasses and your glasses tell you. And the reason why these things were pretty popular is because when we in the 90s and the 2000s envisioned how things would be in the future, we figured it would be a visor or or some sort of a glasses or a headset that we would use, that we would be talking to. And so this is kind of the closest thing to that. And so critics are saying, obviously, these things could be dangerous, especially with the facial recognition, etc. And then Meta does not seem to, from what critics are saying, have a very good track record as it pertains to privacy. But apparently the footage that gets recorded, according to Futurism, goes offshore, where offshore contractors do data labeling. And there's this pre-processing step in training new AI models in which human contractors are asked to review and annotate footage. It's laborious. They say it's highly resource intensive, but tech companies use that to increase the prowess of their AI models. And so Meta contractors based in Nairobi, Kenya, told Swedish newspapers that in this recent post that they are being told to review highly sensitive and intimate data. According to a contractor for a company called Sama. Now these are Americans that they're watching because they're contracted out of the country because they're cheaper. They say in some videos you can see someone going to the toilet or getting undressed. He goes, "I don't think they know, because if they knew, they wouldn't be recording." One data annotator said, "I saw a video where a man puts the glasses on the bedside table, leaves the room. Shortly afterward, his wife comes in and changes her clothes." My husband did that, I would be. Other footage imagery included people's bank cards, users watching porn, and even sex scenes where they used it to film their own. An employee added that they felt forced to watch and annotate or else risk losing their job. He said, "You understand that it is someone's private life you're looking at, but at the same time, you are just expected to carry out the work. You are not supposed to question it. If you start asking questions, you are gone." So apparently, in the Meta's AI terms of use, the company reserves the right to have the company review your interactions with AI, including the content of your conversations with or messages to AI. And this review could be automated or manual, meaning humans. So the document says that users shouldn't share information that you don't want the AIs to use and retain, such as information about sensitive topics. But basically, your data is being sent remotely to overseas, and these glasses. So we have a couple in the house now and I don't know if they're just lying there among clutter. Just why I just don't know. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with everybody about that. But I mean, it's not just your AI glasses. I mean, we got video games with cameras on it, and our echoes and the assistants, of virtual assistants, and I get that AI needs to learn us in order to please us. I mean, it's like a marriage. I mean, it took a while for my husband to go, I get it. Okay, she doesn't want me to leave soaked sandwich bread in the sink. I got it. I mean, it took 10 times and years for him to understand that. But he learned me. And when he learned, right, he doesn't piss me off, right? Same thing. Me too. Now I know what ticks my husband off, so I'm not going to do it unless I want to tick him off. Yeah, that's different subject for a different day. But so you're actually purchasing and spending a lot of money. I mean, those glasses were a pretty penny. You're spending a lot of money that you're thinking is going to add to your experience and make you more technical, but it's actually absorbing information on you. And how many of you take your phone to the bathroom with you? I don't have magazines. I don't buy magazines. All right? I play a game. I mean, and if I am going to be in the bathroom for an extended period of time, I want to know that I'm getting my messages because I get a lot of text messages. So I'm going to bring the phone with me. Is that a smart move? I told you guys 10, 15 years ago, do not bring your phone into the bathroom with you. And usually I don't, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? I might be in here a little while. So just in case. And sometimes I'm even talking to my friends on the potty. So, we are being a little too trusting. And we could complain about it till the cows come home, but I don't think anything's going to get done. Do we really want AI and other countries and people in other countries and things that could get hacked to really see, and know what we're doing? And people are able to hack. I mean, it happens. It's interesting. These camera phones, after what happened to Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's mom, we're telling people, you guys got to get your cameras. You have to get your cameras up on outside. You have to do that so that you could go and see if there's any criminal, suspects that are coming to your house. But why don't a lot of us have the cameras? Well, because we don't want somebody to hack in and know when we're in and out of the house, when we're coming and going. We don't want people to then know when the house is open and available, or we don't want people watching us. So that's why we don't have the cameras, for those of us that don't have cameras. And I'm noticing people I'm seeing where they'll walk kind of funny around their house. And I was like, what's going on? I go, well, there's a camera. There's a camera. I go, so you can't walk around your house naked? If you want to? No, I can't. Now, I don't like walking around naked, because the cats and dogs are like, you need some plastic surgery there. My cats are very judgy. They're like, meow. Okay, I'm like, thank you. Can I have some price, please? But, for other people, if they want to be, doing their thing, let them do their thing. Yeah, but unfortunately, you might not realize that your camera on your laptop or your phone or your AI glasses are recording you. And so why, we're this AI we're pushing to, and sorry, I hit the desk. This AI that we are asking for is going to probably be what eventually leads to, our demise financially, and who knows, even from an evolutionary standpoint. I mean, we are asking and we are pushing and we are driving something that's going to kick us out of our jobs, that's going to expose us in very vulnerable situations, is going to allow us to get hacked, is allowing other individuals to know, what we put in the safe, where we hide the cash, why I have apple still in my teeth that should have been swallowed a while ago. Yeah, see, this was my breakfast, apple. So proud of myself. We're allowing this to happen. And we're pushing it and driving it. Now, what has to happen? Well, everybody has to say, no more. No mas. We're done. I don't want any videos of me. I don't want AI. But no, they're not going to do that. They're not, because people like their phones and they like their tech and they like their glasses. So just be careful and just survey the room before you undress or go potty. 1-877 Doc Dolly. Hi guys, Dr. Dahlia here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdahlia.com. Check it out.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme, the solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
And we're back on the Dr. Dahlia Show, 1-877 Doc Dolly, 1-877-DOC-DALI. All right, I can already see how people are going to want to turn this again to anti-Israel and this war that is, I guess, continuing. I don't think it ever ended with Iran. Iran has been attacking Americans, has been attacking Israel, has been funding terrorism for a long time now. But with the latest, shall we say, strategy to end their nuclear capabilities, this has escalated. It has taken American lives. It is now putting America on alert for the sleeper cells to act out, as we saw what happened in Austin, Texas, that sadly took the lives of college students who were partying. And it's a scary, scary time. But I'm already seeing rhetoric going, well, Israel dragged us into this. Israel dragged us into this. Well, what Secretary of State Marco Rubio did, and very understandably, all right, is there's a lot of pressure on the Trump administration as to why he did this without running it by Congress first. And, they're trying to do a secret operation, right? And they, and with individuals that we have seen in Congress be very, vocal and very, shall we say, non-secretive as it pertains to classified information. It was, probably the Pentagon's decision to, if we're going to do a covert operation, we inform Congress, but we get it done, the Gang of Eight, and then we get it done, and then we will brief Congress on everything else that's going on. But there's a lot of pressure on why did America do this? Why did America do this? So Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, look, we knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack on American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties. So is it that, so then people are saying, well, wait a second, how does Israel have that much control? How does, Trump wanted this done. And I think because Israel, already, people are not going to give Israel good press. The hatred of Israel, sadly, that is so high that nobody's going to give Israel good press. So my guess is Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu had a discussion and they said, look, we're going to help. We're going to get this done. But America is going to get ticked if it looks like we started it. So we're going to need to say, this is something you were going to do no matter what. And we had to, protect. And so that's how I look at it. But I think Trump knew there was an opportunity. We all knew there was an opportunity to end the Iranian regime that has been raping and slaughtering their civilians and then going after American bases and Americans for decades. The opportunity was now. Israel saw it. America saw it. The Iranians saw it. So Trump said, look, we're going to help you. We're going to, get rid of their nuclear capability. We're going to do what we can to get rid of the Ayatollah, and then Iranians, you take over. Now, the Revolutionary Guard, not the easiest to take on. They got the weapons, they got the drones, but they're going to be limited. And so if there are forces in Iran, that are, wanting to take over, this is their time. In fact, I guess new leadership that was same old, had assembled, and Trump confirms that Israel hit that building or that meeting where there were the leadership, not the leadership that's the opposition, but I think leadership still a part of the original Iranian regime. And so I think, America and Israel are telling Iran, look, you're done. This regime is done. We're not putting up with it anymore. We're not going to stop until we know you're gone. And I don't want to see Americans hurt. I don't want to see boots on the ground. I don't know how long this will go on for. But on the other end, this had to happen. And I know people are saying, well, we wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for Israel, and we wouldn't have done. I mean, if anybody really understands the geopolitics and remembers what Iran has done to Americans throughout the recent history, no. And the fact that they're the number one sponsor of terrorism, plus feeding Russia with drones to fight Ukraine. And I mean, Iran has become very powerful and has become a force that other countries don't want to deal with. They're not. Iran doesn't have the allies that the media wants to say they do. And what's China doing? What's Russia doing? Russia can't do anything. Russia's ticked because they were relying on Iran for a lot of their drones and weaponry, and Russia's struggling now. And China wants to play it smart. China wants to do what they want to do as it pertains to Taiwan or Greenland or wherever they want to expand. And so I think they're not going to step in. In the meantime, embassies across the region are on high alert. The State Department has ordered the evacuation of non-emergency personnel and family in Kuwait, Bahrain, Iraq, Qatar, Jordan, and the UAE. I believe Iran has been just indiscriminately, bombarding other areas like Dubai and Abu Dhabi and all that with drones and missiles and they're while America and Israel are going after military sites and those in the regime. You have Iran, they're not even caring if they're hitting civilians. And unfortunately, this is something we've just always seen. So what next? Well, right now, the White House said their goals are to destroy the threat of Iran's ballistic missiles, its missile industry, and its navy. The nuclear facilities and their nuclear power is fairly well destroyed, but not all of it, I don't believe. And so they want to attack it from all angles. And I'm not here to talk about the strategy, and you guys know more about that than I. But what I don't like is hearing the discourse and going, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to blame Israel more. Right now, sentiment for Israel is dropping. And if you look at the little tiny piece of land Israel has among the whole Middle East, and people saying, yeah, Israel needs to give more land and they need to not be there. And they need, I don't want to hear any of it, people. And, Trump, when people say, I don't understand why Trump is, so buddy with Netanyahu and Israel, because America needs Israel. I mean, how they were able to do this is the military were able to hack Tehran's cameras, and they knew what their terrorists were doing. They knew what we have Israel. We have the use as Americans, Israel, to help us with the intelligence in the area. As I've always described it, Israel is the helicopter pad for America in the Middle East. And it basically allows American access to a lot of intelligence. We might not get everything from Israel, but we get, if Trump wants to know what's going on with these countries and Israel knows, and they utilize that. And if one of Trump's biggest threats is Iran, yeah, he's going to be working with Israel. And he's going to want to annihilate that threat. Now, Operation Midnight Hammer didn't do the whole, it was supposed to do the whole job, but it did a good part. And it weakened them. But they needed another blow. However, this is not going to be easy. They had time to regain weapons. They had time to, unfortunately slaughter protesters. And, when the world sees that you have such an evil regime, and you have even people who were protesting were arrested, raped, assaulted, for those who weren't killed. Now, it's an evil regime that needed to go. And they weren't just hurting their own citizens, they were hurting ours. Unfortunately, the war could last a good few weeks. Everybody's promising, no, it won't last that long. Iran can't hold out. But unfortunately, that's what we're in right now. 1-877-Doc Dolly, don't go away.
Hey guys, it's Clyde. We've had a lot of requests for Ground Zero merchandise, so we put together an online store with a big variety of high-quality items. I'm really excited to let you know about these things. We have a lot to offer you and your loved ones. In addition to our regular apparel, such as t-shirts, beanies, hoodies, and hats, we've expanded our product line with posters, flags, aprons, mugs, and a whole lot more. We also have Ground Zero collectibles, along with a limited edition of items like a Clyde Lewis canvas portrait, a Ground Zero embroidered jacket that will certainly make for great gifts and for interesting conversations with family and friends. And we now offer publications such as Ron Patton's book about mind control, MK Zine, and back copies of the official magazine of Ground Zero while it was in print. Paranoia, the Conspiracy Reader, also coming in 2023, are updated and revised books that I've written. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. So shop today at our official store by going to groundzeromerch.com. Again, that's groundzeromerch.com.
Hey, America. How tired are you of mainstream corporate media's biased narratives and manipulated news? Their dishonesty and attempts to influence this generation have been exposed, put on display for anyone who's even half paying attention. But the New American Magazine has been an honest source of news and commentary for over 50 years. This is your opportunity to receive the stalwart of principled journalism at a deep discount. Picture a beautifully published magazine arriving at your doorstep twice a month, packed with insightful stories written with integrity. It's also available digitally on the New American's mobile app. Get up to speed with intelligent coverage from a freedom perspective. Right now, for a limited time, the New American is available to radio listeners at a 25% discount on a new subscription. Visit thenewamerican.com/radio25 and receive 25% off. Subscribe today at thenewamerican.com/radio25.
Welcome back to the Dr. Dolly Show. 1-877-Doc-Dolly, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So nearsightedness or myopia is skyrocketing globally. In fact, according to the World Health Organization, they think half of the world's population are going to need glasses by 2050 because of myopia. Half of the world's population. Now, the first thing that comes to our mind is the smartphone use. Using smartphones and other devices, when combined with excessive computer use, 80% higher risk of having myopia. However, scientists are wondering if there also could be something else. And so they feel that maybe, we look at who are the individuals that don't seem to have nearsightedness versus who are. Well, as a child, so I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, and it was hot in the summer. And my parents couldn't afford sports or camp or anything like that. So all I could really do was sit around the house and watch TV. Too hot to play outside. We didn't have a pool. There were a couple times when we had some good years where we were living in a house that had a pool. But, if my mom didn't like who was in the apartment pool, or if the apartment didn't have a pool, no, we basically, sat and watched TV. And my brother, who really didn't like watching TV, wouldn't really watch it a lot, and he would still play outside or do whatever. He didn't end up needing glasses. Yet me, I did. And so for me, I was like, that's it. I watched too much TV. I have to wear glasses. But, maybe it's not that I was watching TV so much, but there's something about being outdoors and the light that's hitting your eyes. So nearsightedness happens when your eyeball, they say, is of a shape where it's too long from front to back. So the light focuses in front of the retina rather than it hitting the retina. You guys have seen those pictures of myopia, nearsightedness versus farsightedness. Whereas farsightedness, the object goes beyond where the retina would be. So you're seeing it too soon, and that's how it's blurry. If the object of the visual object doesn't hit the retina properly, it gets blurry. If it goes past where it's supposed to be and you're seeing it too soon, blurry, which is why we use refraction with glasses to help change that distance. And it's a fascinating science, and it's amazing how we were able to jump on this as quickly as possible. But researchers at the State University of New York, SUNY College of Optometry, found that there might be another trigger for this. And they say in bright outdoor light, the pupil constricts to protect the eye while still allowing ample light to reach the retina. They said when people focus on close objects indoors like phones, tablets, or books, the pupils also constrict, but not because of brightness, but to sharpen the image. They say with improper lighting, this combination could significantly reduce retinal illumination. Now, I don't know if you all noticed, for those of us who are middle-aged, if I don't have my reading glasses, I put the light on my phone. And when I add light, I could see things better. And so they suggest that in a dim environment, your narrow pupil allows so little light that your retina can't address accept the image well enough. Meanwhile, if you're outdoors, when it's light, you're able to see better. Now, a lot of us, I'm of the age now where driving at night, not as easy. I feel a little better having my glasses. I don't technically need glasses to drive. I've passed all my driving tests, but I'm noticing I like it better. I feel like I like it better. Why? Well, because dim lights, if less light. And I know a lot of you are like, but Dr. Dahlia, we all knew this. This isn't science. I don't think some people do. Now, we don't want you to have super bright backgrounds because brightness will constrict the pupils. But we also, if you're using darker backgrounds or you have dimmer lights, that can interfere as well. See, the reason why your pupil dilates when it's dark is it's trying to capture as much light as possible. If there's too much light, then the pupil constricts so that you minimize the amount of light coming in. But there's like a fine balance. So what they're suggesting is if you are noticing some issues, you might want to play around with your settings. The way you do your light, you don't want your laptop too bright. But it's interesting because I noticed in the mornings I was kind of struggling. And I was like, I don't understand. I'm just not seeing as clearly as I want to. Well, I didn't realize that I had the dimmer on. Also, my font the text size was small. I didn't know you could up your text size on your computer. I learned how to do that finally with my phone, and I am a happy girl. Because now I don't, always have to reach for my glasses. Now, people will ask if you use glasses more than you need where your eyes get used to them. There's not a lot of science saying that's the case. If you need glasses, you need glasses. But if you don't need glasses and you're forcing yourself to wear something because they look good, yes, that could temporarily alter your vision. But if you're, because I when I was in 6th grade, I was 11 years old when I got the news that I was going to have to wear glasses, and I was devastated by that. I did not want to wear glasses. So here I am going into my preteens, pimples, puberty, and now I have to wear glasses, and I was upset. And so I hardly wore them. And I remember the doctor said you only need to wear them at school to see the board, or if you watch TV, or whenever you need them. But you don't have to wear them all the time. So I would never wear them. And my mom would get mad at me. Wear your glasses, wear your glasses, wear your glasses. I didn't want to do that. But I thought that I could retrain my eyes. I didn't. I wasn't able to. And, if you have a certain shape to your eye, or if you have your body has tried to compensate, or you have some weakness to it, use the glasses, put less strain, you'll be happier for it. But look at the lighting. Look at your text size. I think it's really, really worth evaluating that. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So this story caught my eye. Seniors over 80 years old who eat a specific diet may be less likely to reach 100 years old. Now, this was interesting, but they say that researchers looked at 5,000 adults, this is according to Fox News Health, age 80 or older, who were enrolled in the Chinese Longitudinal Health Longevity Survey. And they looked at data in 1998 and 2018, and they showed that those who did not eat meat were less likely to reach their 100th birthday than those who consumed animal products regularly. Now, this contradicts previous studies that vegetarianism or veganism or plant-based diets will lower risks of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and obesity. And in the Chinese Longitudinal Healthy Longevity Survey, if the majority of the individuals were Asian, and Asians do have high cholesterol when they take on more of a Western diet, they seem to have more precipitous cholesterol and lipid levels. This is fascinating, where the meat eaters might have lived longer. Now, somebody could say, well, wait a second. If you're looking at resources, and somebody able to incorporate more meat in their diet may have more financial resources, and those with financial resources may have the ability to live longer. Yeah, I mean, there could be other issues or the other things, but what I understand, they filtered that out. And so they say vegetarians over 80 are less likely to reach 100. That just, wow. Now, I'm not saying, if you love your vegetarian diet, obviously something got you to age 80. So I am not going to criticize. I think vegetarian diets are very, very cool. I think vegan diets are very cool too, as long as you're getting your essential amino acids. But, the idea that meat is bad is, I think, going away. And I think people are realizing that humans are carnivores, and that if they do incorporate some meat into their diet, that's not bad. 1-877-DOC-DALI, don't go away. Dr. Dahlia here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme, the solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.